Well, hey there, folks, and welcome to another edition of Bronco Planet. Shad, it's 2015. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to all of you out there, and welcome back to the big show.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I know you might have noticed, where's Shad and Danny? What happened to Bronco Planet? But the fact of the matter is we really haven't been playing that many meaningful games. We've been, we knew we were a playoff team, and you know what? Bronco Planet's all about the games that matter, and now's when it counts, Danny.
Well, it sure does count, and as expected, if you go back to the St. Louis game with Shad, was the really tilting moment for the Broncos, whether or not they were going to clinch home field. It played out, after that loss, it played out exactly how we thought it would. We're going into this deal, number 2 seed. We do have a home game, and here we are with another Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Denver Bronco, Indianapolis Colts matchup, Shaddy.
Yeah, I think it's great. Everything's falling right now in the Broncos' favor. It was so good to see, all of a sudden Bell having a lights out year for Pittsburgh. He gets hurt. Ravens that are, a little bit scary, peaking at the right time. Defense looking very tough. That's a team that can go knock off New England. They're going to have to do a lot. Tom Brady's still Tom Brady, but at least there's a chance there. And I don't think, and this is not disrespectful of the Colts, they're just not there. It's the Andrew Luck show. Vontae Davis on defense. Yeah, T.Y. Hilton will give you a little flash here and there, but Chris Harris is going to be lined up on him, I would guess, for the entire game. We'll follow him everywhere. And so I think the Broncos are really in a good spot right now. I like how they've got a little more balance. They're running the ball more, certainly. C.J. Anderson has got to be, the standout surprise on offense this year, and maybe how good Sanders has really been, because we thought he was pretty good, but boy, he's been flashy.
It just goes to show you that Peyton Manning can make a superstar out of even, and there was nothing ordinary about Emmanuel Sanders before he was a Denver Bronco, but what a great year that he's been having. It was a little bit of an injury and sickness and illness issues rolling into the last game of the year, I believe, against the Raiders. 21 guys hurt, sick, not playing, and one of the biggest impacts that I think that's hurt the defensive side of the ball at middle linebacker. It's nice to see that we're going to get a guy like Marshall back.
Yeah, our leading tackler, he's been great. I think it's going to be important because what the Colts will do is a lot of dink and dunk, right? Hilton's the only really deep threat. I think Moncrief on occasion, but at the end of the day, I think you see a lot of screen passes. I think you see a lot of tight end action, which we know the Broncos have struggled. So if you're a FanDuel, DraftKings kind of guy, look for Fleener and Dwayne. I think it's Dwayne Allen to have some big games. Although Allen's been dinged up a little bit. But what I'm really hoping, speaking of tight ends, is that we get our tight end back, who's been on the milk carton all over Denver, missing persons. Julius Thomas, no touchdown since week 10, and in a contract year, it
can have absolutely big ramifications. But you can also look at week 10. That's when the Denver running game really ramped up to what we're seeing today. As we had talked about extremes, and then we're talking about balance. Let's just talk about the last month or so. Peyton Manning really not playing all that well.
Yeah, and I think what we need from Manning, and what I've been posting about, if you follow the Booster Club or follow us individually on Facebook, is I want to see more consistency out of Manning. Yeah, I don't need, everybody's like, I don't have to be either or, all pass, all run. I don't care if Peyton Manning throws 15 passes for 98 yards, but I want him to look sharp. I want him to look better than he's looked for the last 5 games. So it's not about the stats. It's about, can he get it together? And we did learn recently in a Sports Illustrated article that, after the St. Louis game, John Elway's saying, dude, you got to lighten up, Peyton. He's always got the suit on, and he's so revved up, and he's so focused that I think sometimes you can just overdo it and just relax.
Own worst enemy type of scenario. I certainly get that. And there's, one way to get right, and that is playing at home. Weather doesn't really look like it's going to be much of a factor coming this Sunday. And I really hope, I always get nervous when you get that first round bye, because it screws up all the time, and it screws up, the whole routine. Kind of process and the routine. But on the flip side, it gives you 2 weeks to get healthy. For those of you who don't know, maybe you do, best wishes going out to Danny Trevathan. What a hell of a year this kid has. Yeah. He does nothing but just tackle guys and make a difference. He played 2 games, 3 games, something like that. He has officially undergone surgery post-holidays, so hopefully whatever it is with his leg issue is solved and done, and he's ready to go by camp. And again, Brandon Marshall, anytime a guy's coming back off an injury, you get a little bit of that nervousness in your belly. But I do really feel I feel a lot better this year, I think, than going into even to the first round last year. I think this break, and I can't even believe I'm saying this because, again, I don't like to disrupt that type of schedule, but I really think the Broncos needed this 2 weeks, and I think it's going to show on Sunday.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you said, but this year where they had their bye so freaking early, right, it was important that they get some rest. I think that's happened. Even Peyton, who, by the way, if there's ever a broken play, don't try and block again because that's how it's not going to work. It's okay. Just lay down. But at the end of the day, I think that they're feeling a lot better. Bruton was dinged up. You got Orlando Franklin back, and I'm really interested to see how our big pass rushers do, because we saw it in Baltimore 2 years ago, and we saw it in important games last year. Will Von Miller, who deserves to be an All-Pro again, who's played lights out, what are him and Ware going to do? Right. Because those guys have kind of, our big player guys, Dumerville in the past, right, have faded in the big games. So now it starts, are they ready for playoff action? And the guy I've loved the most on defense this year, Malik Jackson. He only has 3 sacks, but he's tipping balls. He's disruptive. He's a great guy.
Dumb penalties, everything.
Yeah,
he's run the whole gauntlet.
He's great though. I think he's really come a long way.
I was just playing, but
yeah, I know. I get it. Yes.
I totally speak the truth. It'll definitely, the one thing about being a year removed, and this is kind of fresh in everybody's mind what Andrew Luck did to the Chiefs last year. You don't ever want to get too cocky against this kid. He is a playmaker. He can kill you with his arm. He can kill you with his legs, and he's just so damn smart. But there's always that little memory of what I stopped watching that game last year at the Chiefs at halftime. Figured,
yeah, no, I mean, Elway, without a doubt, had many Broncos teams that weren't all that talented and found ways to win. Andrew Luck looks like that, although I have to tell you the funniest thing, I spit out my drink this morning. The morning crew saying Andrew Luck looks like a Civil War general with the
or a good friend Drew Litton in his latest cartoon with the
on Bronco
Zoom.
Planet. Yep. You got to check it out. Great. Drew Litton's in playoff form already.
Right. Well, maybe Andrew Luck's got a little hockey in him, but he starts his hockey in August and not December when the playoff runs comes. But with that being said, folks, first round of the playoffs. Let's get all behind this whole deal, Shaddy. I know you're feeling good. I am feeling good. Let's leave our listeners with a little bit of knowledge. Drop it on them, Shaddy.
Well, I think the knowledge is you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
What kind of knowledge you want? Here's some knowledge that I'll tell you.
2 and 2 is 4, and the Broncos are going to win.
The bottom line, I think what it all comes down to right now, what I'm looking at is what is Peyton Manning and John Fox going to do?
Right.
They have been lights out since they both came to the Broncos organization during the regular season, and let me throw Del Rio into there too.
Sure.
How will they perform in the playoffs? Will they be better Will there be better coaching? Right. Will Manning have it together, or will they fold? Because we're really on the third year of win now type situation, right. and I think that's important. I think the rest of the players, I think Thomas and Sanders, maybe seeing a little Welker starting to come alive. So I think that's good, but it comes down to coaching and your quarterback play. Elway, didn't have a great Super Bowl against Green Bay, but the leadership, the helicopter. Now, Lord forbid Manning does a helicopter. That'll be like 3 helicopters he gets hit. Right. But that leadership has got to be there, that stability that everybody turned to him and says, we got this thing.
Right.
So I'm not worried about Indy. Do they have the talent to surprise somebody? Yes, but it's going to be the weeks after. That's when do we have the big boy pants on.
There you go. You heard it right here. Little nugget of knowledge is what we like to call them here. We will be back with you next week, come hell or high water, win or loss. It's the playoffs, folks, and we're in it to win it. Bronco Planet, I'm Danny. This is Shad. We'll see you next time.